We are so glad that you're here with us today. We have lots of special things planned for you, and Nikki and Emily are going to be helping you with that this morning. You're going to have your own personal stylist, but this morning we're going to try some different things. Oh, you see stuff you like already?
Yeah.
Top Buttons was created with one purpose in mind, and that was to be a unique and positive fashion resource for women in the community. We live in a culture that tells us the more inappropriate or provocative we are, the more attention we're going to get, and we can be deceived into thinking that that's where our value is. But we know that each one of you was intentionally created by a creator for a purpose. We want to provide the resources you need to feel confident and prepared for that next step in life.
This is different.
Yeah.
You, Carmen, have dragged me a lot of places over the years, but I can honestly say I've never been to a boutique thrift store that reaches out to at-risk young women.
Yes.
So today, for our joy story, we're in Lakeland, Florida, and we're going to meet an amazing woman in just a minute.
Yes. Her name is Sara Powers, and I say we go meet her. You're going to love her. Sara, thank you for having us here.
We're glad that you guys are here.
As I read through your story, I resonate with a lot. Just tell us a little bit about your childhood. Start there with us.
When I was about 13, my aunt got hepatitis B, and she did get a staph infection and pass away. During that time, I remember our home life became pretty volatile. My dad walked out on my mom. You think your life is going a certain direction and then everything changes. I had what you're supposed to have to be happy. I still was looking for love in all the wrong places, and found myself pretty quickly going down a path that could have been really awful. But there was a moment where I was just so empty and so hurt and frustrated with life that I closed the door to my bedroom, got on my face before the Lord, and I just cried out to God and said, God, if you are real, I want you to show yourself to me.
The path wasn't just straight from there, up, 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 was it?
No.
Tell us about where it went off.
God led me through a series of incredible things. He led me to a ministry program in Illinois, but life wasn't perfect. There was another death of someone close to me, and once again, I felt like, okay, God, I don't know where I'm going. I had been in this ministry program for several years, and I felt like, okay, I don't have a college degree. I've stayed in this program thinking I'm going to eventually get married, and now I'm not. I was doing ministry over in Europe, all things that are not awful in and of themselves.
I want to bring this up here. There's something you said in your letter. Fortunately, what I needed was not more ministry, travel, or distractions. I needed more time alone with the Lord to process and deal with the past and recent heartache. Tell us from there, after you're in Europe, you come back to Lakeland and pick up your story from there.
I was having a summer break thinking I'm going to go right back into ministry, so I ended up running into the person that I broke up with in high school. But I knew we weren't a right fit for one another. But I just had lost vision and was not happy with myself at that time. I'll never forget, I called the pastor that I worked for in Illinois, and I said, here's the situation, and here's the decisions that have been made. And I know that what I need right now is not more ministry. I know I can't be in ministry. I have to, remove myself from this situation. And at that time, I didn't know I was already pregnant. I let so many people down. I felt like a statistic, and I felt like, what do I even have to give? But I know that God, I believed, God, you're a God of restoration. Show yourself to me again. And I started lining things back up the best that I could. And when my daughter was born, it was like hope birthed inside of me again.
And it wasn't too long after Brooklyn was born, about a year, that we met someone, or you'd known him for a
Yes,
while? Y'all been
no,
friends,
we just met.
football game was involved. So tell us about Brett.
I knew when we met, okay, we have to be friends. I felt like, I know this guy is awesome, and I felt in my heart, I would really love for this to work, Lord. But I could tell he was just not ready, and he was not all in, and so we broke up for a little while. I'll never forget the day he called me and he said, no challenge is too great than the challenge of us not being together. But we got married pretty quick after that. What I admire about him most is his relationship with the Lord and his heart to give and to serve and do what God has called him to do, even when it's difficult.
Sara, the particular brokenness that your story shares with all of us is familiar, but the path that you walked in God's sovereignty couldn't have prepared you better for all of this.
I mean, it was 9 years from the time that I found out I was pregnant that summer to when I started Top Buttons in 2012. I just am very passionate about young women. I get angry. I think we would all get angry together at what culture teaches young women, that they have to be provocative and disrespectful and inappropriate to get attention. And so I just felt like all these things kind of collided to drop the idea of Top Buttons to be a positive fashion resource, kind of like FCA uses sports. We would take fashion to connect and inspire and equip young women to understand who they are in Christ, and then how to present themselves to the world without compromise, and pull out all the sexually explicit content that's commonly associated with the fashion and media industry. And that's how it was.
So tell us what you do here, because you do a lot. We've seen a little bit, but tell us.
Yes, we have more than 16 organizations enrolled with us, including PACE, Porchlight, Teen Challenge, Heartland for Children, pretty much any program that you can think of who serve young women between 11 and 25. They are enrolled with us, and they are allowed to participate in our programs, and we educate and we provide them with new wardrobes of proper fitting attire. But it's not just glamour shots and free clothes. You know, we're really tackling this issue in a unique way. And our message to these girls is that they are not an object, and that they have far more to offer the world than their bodies. They have achievements and talents and gifts from God, a calling on their life and a purpose, a God-given purpose. And we don't want them to limit themselves by the way that they're presenting themselves, or limit themselves by their lack of self-love, the way that they view themselves. Fashion is fun. You know, knowing how to dress for a job interview, that is crucial to your self-confidence and your self-worth, and it's going to help you. But most important is whether or not you know Jesus Christ.
The word that I hear from the young women that you have, shared their stories is the word confidence. The transformation that happens when a young woman who is at risk comes into this boutique and then is met with a personal stylist who mentors her and helps her to understand that she has more self-worth than she thinks she does.
She has value.
She comes out with a sense of confidence. And where does it go from there?
I can think of so many stories, but one girl, she had been set free from a drug addiction and saved while in prison with a prison ministry, Breaking Chains International. She was brought to us by this ministry, just recently saved, and she came in her prison clothes. I mean, she had nothing else. And I felt so strong in my heart, God does not want her to worry about clothes. We're going to take care of this for her. And we talked to her and did some role playing with job interviewing, and talked to her about her relationship with Christ and how God was for her, not just yesterday, but moving forward. Precious, precious. And then she ended up getting a job right up the road soon after, and now she comes back in and visits with us on her breaks.
It's just such a picture for someone to come in their prison clothes and leave in truly changed. It's just such an outward.
Ready for an interview,
Yeah,
ready to face the
is-
world and live out their best life.
The place is beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. When I walked in, it feels very much like anthropology. So
That is the
my-
word we are going with.
Yes. So for my anthropology girls, you know what that means. We're gonna go take a look. But
Yeah, are you
I
willing to
just-
share
yeah.
to show us around?
I
This
would
is a
love
great
to
place.
show you.
Well, I am about women, championing women, especially when it comes to showing them who they are in Jesus, who they are in Christ, and you're doing that. So job well done. This is
Thank
great.
you.
This is so great.
We appreciate you.
Yes.